Hi, I'm Mitch. Thanks for coming today. I really appreciate you being here. You're coming in today because I want you to ask the question, is your house where you live in right now still the right fit like when you bought it? And what am I into this? These are things that you need to consider as you decide to age in place in your home. Because according to AARP, many people fall, hit their heads, and a lot of them pass away by falling in their homes. And we certainly don't want that. Now, before we get started, you kind of need to know, why do I get the opportunity to stand here and speak in front of you? Here's the thing. First off, I've been selling real estate in Las Vegas now for 37 years, been working with seniors for about 18 years, and I'm also what's called a certified aging in place specialist from the National Home Builders Association. I believe that I'm the only real estate agent in all of Las Vegas that actually can come to your house and tell you what you can do so you don't have to sell your house. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive. A guy who makes money by selling houses actually telling you what you can do to stay placed. But I believe in relationships, and I believe that's important. So if you can stay in place, you probably would want to stay in place. I think that's fair. So these are the things that you need to consider as you're deciding whether or not aging in place for you is the right thing, or maybe it's your senior parents, right? First thing you want to believe in or listen to or think about is about the mobility and the safety with the mobility. Are there stairs? Are there steps? Are the hallways narrow? Are they conducive to a walker or wheelchair? Are the doorways wide enough? What has been done to make sure that you can stay in place? Some people tell me, oh, well, I got bars in there, I got grab bars. That is one very small fraction of what you can do. The other thing to think about is your maintenance. How and what needs to be done to take care of the house to ensure that it is a place for you to live safely, right? And in addition to that, do you have things like landscaping, a pool? What if something goes wrong? What if it breaks? What are you going to do to make sure that you can stay in place because of that? Because if you're taking care of some of these things yourself, that's a hazard. Let's be clear about that. So I have a friend of mine, somebody I've known since I was 14. So you got to figure that's a long time with all his gray hair. And he lives in Scottsdale, and his dad was living in Scottsdale. And his dad, very good health, taking care of business the whole 9 yards. And last summer, his dad was working in the yard, got dizzy, fell, was in his yard, face down on the rocks for 7 hours. Now, that would be hard enough for a person who was of younger age, but his dad not only suffered third-degree burns from the fall because it was in the middle of the summertime when he fell, he was dehydrated. Ultimately, they had to put him into hospice because he never recovered. Now, I don't want that for anybody else. And if you're taking care of some of these things, you maybe need to think twice, especially if you're over 55, because lots of things can happen. You want to ask yourself, is the space that I have conducive for me living the best life possible? And I say that because, you know what, as we age, we don't need as much room. And what I've discovered is sometimes these extra bedrooms turn into storage closets. They turn to be receptacles for things that we're not going to use right now. A lot of my the children of my clients will come to me and say, "Come help sell Mom's house," and I'll go there and they'll say, "I'm so sorry, Mom's a hoarder," and I like have to remind them, Mom's not a hoarder. Many of the senior clients that I work with come from a generation that say you don't throw stuff away. You find a way to repurpose it, reuse it, give it away to somebody else. And they put it aside knowing that in their heart and their brain, that's what they're going to do. But once it's in that room or in the closet or a box, it's forgotten about. And so if you have rooms in your house that are just turning into storage closets, probably time to think about making a change. The other thing to consider when you think about aging in place is the proximity of where you live to all the things that are important to you. Because maybe the things that are important to you, like your doctors, maybe the library, maybe the homes of your children and your grandchildren, those things are important. And if you're in a home, a house right now, that really is a little farther away from those things that you'd want it to be, now might be a time for you to consider making a change. I'm very blessed. I got my son to purchase a house around the corner for me, so 2 of my grandchildren can actually ride their bike to my house. That is a blessing that not everybody gets, right? So think about that. You've got to understand that there's going to come a time, and if it's not already happened, you're going to stop driving. Are you going to be able to get to and from where you want to go easier, or is it going to become more difficult, right? And then the last thing I want you to consider when you think about the how and the why of aging in place is communicating, meaning communicating your plans and your desires to your family. Let them be a part of that conversation in such a way that they can ask you questions, not to put you on the defense, of course. And by the way, if you're a child of a senior citizen and they start coming to you with these things, the best thing you can do is come from curiosity. Ask questions about where they see themselves in the next 5 years. Starting the conversation out with, "Oh my God, I don't want you to live alone. I'm worried about you." You're immediately going to put your family member on defense, and we certainly don't want to do that. So my thoughts are communicate with your mom or your dad or your aunt or your uncle, whoever they happen to be. You communicate with your children and you come up with a plan that you think will work for you. The great part about being in a relationship with me, a guy who focuses solely on senior citizens and their housing transitions, is I am comfortable asking all kinds of questions. I answer all kinds of questions, and I'm going to make it easier for you to communicate with your family on this very important move. So to wrap things up, what we need you to do is think about the mobility and the safety of your move. If you want, I come out and I can show you some things you can do. You want to think about the maintenance of your house, what you're doing to take care of it consistently. You want to consider the space that you have. Is it creating a problem? Are you in a 2-story and relegated to living in the living room on the couch because you can't get upstairs? What is it about the space that you have? Then talk about the proximity of where you'd like to go. That's terribly important. And then the last thing is the communication with your family. Once you consider all of those and you make the right choice for you, you'll be able to live much safer, much longer in some place that makes you happy. I hope that works out great for you. Thanks a lot again for listening to my video, and I appreciate you. Thank you.